Hello and welcome to the Carl Jackson Show, your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. Welcome to our live edition on this June 24th, 2024, just a few days away from the first presidential debate. By the way, I will be covering pre and post debate for the Salem News Channel. So you can check me out there, the Salem News Channel, on Thursday for both pre and post debate coverage. So I'm looking forward to that with Andrew Wilkow. Andrew Wilkow, both radio and TV personality for Salem. So I look forward to that. That'll be a great time. I think it'll be a very interesting debate. I've got a lot that I want to share with you today. We're going to get into some stories about illegal immigration. I'm going to give you some of the latest headlines. We have found out some of the details of the young 12-year-old girl that was sexually assaulted by these illegal aliens. I'm going to talk to you about that, talk to you about the details. I'm going to share my opinion and what should be done to those guys. We have video of her mother. Also, AOC Jamal Bowman going a little buck wild over the weekend. These people should not be in Congress. They don't have the gravitas. They don't have the intellect. And I just don't think that they're decent people. I don't think that they're smart people. I'd rather have moderate Democrats in office rather than those communists. And we'll show you some video that I'm sure you watch, perhaps you've seen, but I'm going to dive into it as well. And also, please share this live stream. Obviously, we're on YouTube. Where else are we streaming live right now, Gabe? Are we on X as well? But anywhere where you are. Okay. All right, so we're on X, YouTube, and Rumble. So if you're on any one of those platforms, please share. You can find me on all things social media at The Carl Jackson Show. X, Instagram, Facebook, True Social, Getter, wherever I am on social media, The Carl Jackson Show is where you can go to find me. All right, The Carl Jackson Show is where you can go to find my podcast as well. And again, we appreciate you watching live. I'm going to get into the biggest topic that I'll cover today is what I believe Donald Trump could do to win the debate, even though I believe the media is going to say that he lost the debate unless Joe Biden freezes up like Mitch McConnell did, about a year or so ago in front of the cameras, or like Joe Biden himself has done as well, but for an elongated period of time. That's probably the only way that they will say that Joe Biden lost this debate. But that's what the media will say. But here's what Trump can do. Let me just say this. Here's my opinion. See, and I gotta admit, I think I got this wrong. I'm a policy guy. The emotions and all that kind of stuff. Politics, there's a bunch of emotion in politics. You have to understand that. A lot of politics is political theater. You have to get it. That's what many on the left understand. Some Republicans are starting to catch on to it, but not so much. Republicans tend to be, or conservatives just tend to be, man, we just want to stick to the issues type of crowd. And then when it's time to fight for their issues, they don't know what to do, or they're too scared to fight for their issues. And part of the reasoning for that is simply because they don't know how to play the political theater game, which the left knows how to do. Trump, on the other hand, is very good at it. He's very good at playing political theater. We're going to give you some of the negative things about some of the rules and some of the positives that I think Trump can take advantage of in order to win this debate. And again, I don't think the media will say that he won the debate, but I think in the eyes of most independents, perhaps, I think that they will say, I'll share with you how I think that Trump can win the debate with the people no matter what. And I think that's what's going to be most important. Now, obviously, we're a long ways away from the election. A lot can happen. Something could happen over the weekend, right, where we could completely forget about the debate. Trump is going to continue to do rallies. Obviously, July 11th, we're going to find out right before the convention if Trump is going to be locked up, or if the judge is going to give him house arrest, or what he's going to do. We're not exactly sure over the sham trial in New York. So we're not exactly sure what he's going to do. By the way, did you guys hear former Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York tell Bill Maher? I wish I'd have got that video. Former Governor Andrew Cuomo told Bill Maher that the only reason Trump is being prosecuted is because he's Donald Trump. Now, we all know that. And listen, Andrew Cuomo is trying to I don't know, make good. I don't know what he's trying to do. I guess he wants to be New York City mayor, so he wants to get in good with the more sensible liberals again. He doesn't, he wants to appeal to them as opposed to the crazies like the AOCs and the Jamal Bowmans. But that's a man that literally sentenced people to death, people's parents to death during COVID. But anyway, he's trying to fix his image, basically, right after he got ran out of office. But nonetheless, he's right. He's right in what he said, nonetheless. So very interesting take from him. But if Trump wants to win this debate, again, remember, political theater, a lot of people are emotional. I'm a policy guy. I'm an issue guy. I'm a stick to the issues guy, but I understand political theater. If Trump wants to win this debate, let me throw a curveball at you. He's got to be a gentleman. He's got to be a gentleman. I hate to say this, but you're dealing with, in a lot of Democrat voters, and frankly, a lot of independent voters, you're dealing in low information voters. Not necessarily dumb, but they're not very well informed. Either they don't watch news, they don't read as much about it, or they might just watch CNN, MSNBC, where all it is hate Trump, get Trump, hate Republicans, racist, xenophobic, blah, 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 blah. You guys know the deal, right? So those tend to be low information voters. They're not nerds. They're not paying attention to politics all the time like you guys are, right? So I think Trump can win this thing by being a gentleman and throwing everybody off. We'll get into that. But before we get into that, I want to share with you some of the reasons that former President Trump needs to win, not just this debate, but the election. And not just him, guys. I realize, and this is a quandary, and we have to be real about this. A lot of people don't like Trump. A lot of people don't like Biden. That's why you're seeing in some of the primaries, fewer people are showing up in the primaries. They're just not excited about these two candidates, no matter how you feel about it. Obviously, Trump's base, the most ardent part of Trump's base, are going to show up and continue to show up. The question is, will they show up on November 5th? Now, I do believe that more people will show up on November 5th. I don't necessarily believe that it'll be a landslide either way. I think it could be a close election. I think it can be an electoral college landslide. Now, that is a possibility, I believe, but that's going to entail former President Donald Trump winning some of these swing states. If he can win a Virginia, if he can win a Pennsylvania, if he can take back Arizona, you know what I mean? Then you start seeing this snowball effect, I think, where he could win this thing in an electoral college landslide. But let me give you some motivation. If you may not like Trump, you may not even like Republicans. I hope you're paying attention to the issues. I hope you're a person that loves the rule of law. I hope you're a person that loves life. I hope you're a person that loves free speech. I hope you're a person that loves closed borders, all right, and not open borders. I hope you're a person that believes that when you work, you should get to keep more of your money, right? I hope you're a person that wants, a strong military. I hope you're a person that doesn't want an educational system that is about equity, but rather about equality. Equity being you don't deserve it, but you get it anyway. Equality being, listen, I'm going to go and I'm going to put my foot forward and I'm going to let the chips fall where they may. If this person is better at a job than me, so be it. That may mean that I'm called to a different place. You know what I'm saying? Also, energy independence. We need that back. But I'm going to give you a little motivation. I want you to understand that one of the things that we're fighting for the people that can no longer fight for themselves. We're fighting for Joselyn Nungay. I don't know. I don't want to pronounce her name correctly. Joselyn Nungay, the little 12-year-old girl that was sexually assaulted by illegal aliens because this freaking dementia patient won't close the border. I want to play this video for you. This is her mom. Her mom looks like she's barely, in her mid-20s. But this is her mom. Can you imagine the pain, especially after finding the details? Gabe, forgive me because I have already forgotten the number. And then I'm going to take you to some headlines of the day, right? This election has to be more than about Trump. It's got to be more than about Biden, even though I'm a Trump supporter. It's got to be about some issues. But what is it? What is it going to take to bring you out to the polls? What is it going to take for you to bring a friend of yours or an aunt or cousin or whomever, another family member of yours out to the poll? What's going to get you motivated? I'm hoping that we'll be able to find it in some of these videos. I honestly, I try my best not to cuss. When God saved me, right? When I became a Christian, I used to cuss like a sailor. I used to act like a little wannabe thug, all this kind of stuff. Man, I'm telling you, I had a temper like nobody's business. You know what I'm saying? Like, you say something to me, I would want to scrap. Now you say something to me, I'm like, I'm gonna walk away, right? I'm not trying to get into any nonsense like that. Plus, I'm too old now. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the same way. Might get sprayed with a little pepper spray. You know what I'm saying? but things are a little different now. But when Joe Biden got into office and the things that I started to see that were transpiring, when he opened the borders right away, our foreign policy that is literally collapsing right before our eyes, and it started with Afghanistan, the CRT, the DEI, all of this type of stuff. Man, what is it for you? What is it going to take? Gabe, you're going to have to help me out. I don't remember the number of the video of her mother. Actually, okay. All right. So it's number 10. I apologize. Video clip number 10. The Venezuelan illegal immigrants who are accused of killing. Let me just read. This is right from X. This is from a reporter, Colin Rugg. Killing 12-year-old Joselyn Nungay, and forgive me again if I'm mispronouncing her name. They lured a 12-year-old little girl under a bridge where they took her clothes off, obviously forcefully, right? And they raped her. And they raped her for 2 hours. A 12-year-old little girl, 2 grown-ass men raped a 12-year-old little girl for 2 freaking hours in the dirt, in a creek. What should happen to them? I'm telling you, my thoughts were running wild. My ghetto fabulous Carl came back for just a second. There's a reason why Trump has to win. He has to win for Joselyn Nungay. Gabe, roll the video, por favor.
Look at the people that are here. They care about you.
What is your message as her mother to the justice system?
Please don't fail us. Please don't let us down. The city of Houston has done everything in their power to bring this to light, and now it's the justice system to do their part as well. It's a community effort. It's a partnership. We all have to follow through, and we all need to give them their punishments that they deserve, because my baby didn't deserve this.
What do you hope that punishment is?
That they receive worse than what my daughter did. Because she deserves to live and breathe every single day. I was looking forward to seeing how beautiful she was going to grow up to be. And I know God is real, God is good, and they will feel God's wrath.
And can you just explain what Forever 12 is on your shirt?
Forever 12, she'll never be a teenager, so she'll forever be 12.
Man.
For people that didn't know your daughter, how would you like for them to remember her? How would you like them to, when they hear her name, what would you like them to think?
She was goofy. She had her own personality. She was one of a kind, wasn't a follower. She was her own trendsetter. She loved animals, would save all of them. I'll never forget when she brought in a raw pigeon out from just the streets and just bathed it and took care of it. And she was a nurturer, and she was amazing. She was amazing. And all I have now are the memories and all the things that she had. But she was an amazing friend. Man, she had so many friends that cared about her, and she cared about so many people, all the people she loved. She was just amazing.
And we know the story has reached national level. Do you think, this would reach such a huge audience?
Never did in a million years did I think I would have to go through this, but never in a billion years did I think it would get the amount of attention it has. But at some point, this has to stop. This has to stop. We have to stop losing our kids, and we have to put out awareness that for parents, just please be extra careful with your kids. Make sure you have extra safety measures. Kids, please don't think you're invincible. Like, you never know when your last day is. You never know. We always think we're young and dumb, and we're gonna have fun and come home and we'll be safe. But it's not always the case for everybody.
How's your little brother doing?
We broke the news to him today, and he's still trying to process it. He doesn't understand why, but you know, we've just explained that she's up in heaven and she's going to be our guardian angel now, and she's going to make sure nothing happens to us.
All right, that was
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
all right. Forever 12. So that's what the T-shirt reads. That's the mother of, again, forgive me, Joselyn Nungay. I've heard it pronounced a couple of names, so Nungay, Nungay. But anyway, 12-year-old girl sexually assaulted, lured under a bridge by two illegal immigrants, and just brutally attacked for 2 hours. This is why Trump needs to win. This is what's on the line. This is one of the things that's on the line. Some of the bigger issues that we're facing, obviously, borders and inflation. And tomorrow night, listen, I'm going to have a couple of podcasts. I was going to record tonight, but I'm going to have a couple out. I'm going to talk to you about something that I think is really interesting that I found out about, how the Black church and the Black church attendance has fallen off precipitously since the COVID lockdowns. And as a result of that, remember, Souls to the Poll, that's really struggling. We'll get into that tomorrow. Also, how the Biden administration is just completely lying to you about the economy. It's even worse than you think. There could be, I hope to God this isn't true. I'm not trying to be a doomsday type. That's not my goal, but we'll get into that. So we've got some podcasts that we're going to be recording tonight and tomorrow that will be out. So please make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you go to get your podcast. Again, Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, and Rumble. I want to get to some of the news of the day, and then I want to get into the ways in which Trump can win the debate, even though the media, and you guys know this is true, the media is going to come out and say that he lost unless Joe Biden gets up on the stage and he just freezes. You know what I'm saying? They're going to say that he lost. That's how they are going to roll. All right, so I'm going to get into what he needs to do. He needs to be a gentleman. Beyond being a politician, yes, he had the policy and people love the policy. You know, obviously the 2020 hindsight, Operation Warp Speed was a complete and utter disaster. That was a way for the left to try to take back the White House. And unfortunately, it worked, right? So 2020 hindsight, Operation Warp Speed was a disaster, even though it was amazing how Trump was trying to get things to work so fast. I'm not even sure what you would call it, the wheels of government to spin so quickly with the major corporation pharmaceuticals, which would normally be fascism, which is a little scary. But we thought we were in a worldwide pandemic, but we just handled it in the wrong way. We didn't listen to the right people. And so now, but anyway, his first 3 years were absolutely, amazing, except for the spending. And then the third year, his fourth and final year in office, obviously, that was a crud show or crap show, as they would say, because of the lockdowns. But nonetheless, I'm going to talk to you about what you can do to win. Okay, we have a super chat. Who is the super chat? Camille, welcome back, Camille. How are you? Thank you so much. Do you have a question or a statement for me? Because right now I'm not on. Is there one, Gabe? Okay. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Camille. Really appreciate that. Appreciate you tuning into the Carl Jackson Show. All right. So what I want to do here, I want to give you some of the news, and then I want to get into the specific reasons why Trump how Trump can win. And then I just gave you a video of why Trump must win. He must win for the Joselyn Nungays of the world. All right. So it is imperative that he does. Gabe, I'm sorry. This is sending me to a bunch of different places except where I need to go. So anyway, I'm going to have to move on from that. But all right. I lost my train of thought. Okay. So Trump has to prove that he's a gentleman. Trump has to prove that he's a gentleman. I'll get into that. But before I do want to share this with you because the economy is, let's be real, it's worse than you think. Pay off your debt, save some money if you can. Hopefully you've been able to purchase a property, but if not, just continue working hard, setting money aside, and eventually you'll get to a point where you can afford real estate. And if you can buy real estate, some people, I know there's some people out there online, listen, the vast majority of people are going to gain their wealth by purchasing real estate. So make sure that you do that. And the Great Reset people, New World Order type people don't want you to do that. But also, if you want to protect your money, you want to make sure that it doesn't disappear. Gold is also an option. Economists warn that massive tax hikes could devastate your IRA and your 401k account as the stock market braces for impact. With inflation on the rise and global uncertainty looming, it's clear why central banks and savvy Americans are turning to gold in times like this. Proverbs 21:20 reminds us to preserve what we built. Right now, that wisdom points us towards gold. If you haven't had your eye on gold, time to make it a priority. My name is Carl Jackson, and I urge you to call my friends at Priority Gold to find out how they can help you diversify your savings with physical gold and silver. Call 1-800-405-GOLD or visit PriorityGold.com/golden. PriorityGold.com/golden for a free gold info guide. Plus, see if you qualify for free shipping and storage. Act now to get your free portfolio working for you while the market is golden. Again, call 1-800-405-GOLD to speak with a gold specialist or visit PriorityGold.com/golden to learn more. That's 1-800-405-GOLD. Okay, so let me get to some headlines really quick. Some that I want to share with you that were on the tip sheet earlier. Some that have popped up since as a result. But number one, as I go through them, let me just, because these are some of the most important stories that we had today, and I want to make sure that I share them with you as I scroll through my laptop to try and find them if I can. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is what was on the tip sheet today. Obviously, more news is broke, so we'll get to that. Democrats and mainstream media downplay the border crisis. So I just talked to you about Joselyn Nungay, and again, this is a case that has sparked nationwide, I believe, outrage. Right, the border crisis. You know, her mother, I think, was a little naive towards the end of that video, if I'm being honest. Because she's saying parents watch your kids. And she's absolutely right. Parents, watch your kids. Protect your kids. Be careful, right? Make sure you know what they're up to. You're going to have to check their phones. You may have to. Her daughter snuck out of the room. You know, it's sad, but it's true. Her daughter snuck out of the room. Apparently, she had a boyfriend. Her boyfriend was the last person she spoke to. So I don't know if she intended to meet her boyfriend or something like that when she snuck out. Apparently, she ran. I don't know all the details, but apparently she ran in to these illegal aliens, and somehow they lured her and convinced her. I don't know how. She's a 12-year-old little girl, right? Oh man, but you can prepare your daughter, you can prepare your child all you want, and you should. All right, I did that. We did that with our daughter. You should. But it's hard to prepare your child for an illegal immigrant that has no respect for life, that has no respect for the law, that will literally sexually assault a 12-year-old girl, tie her hands behind her back, and then strangle her to death. It's hard to protect against that. As a matter of fact, it's virtually impossible. So how do you protect against that? You freaking seal the border. And then when that stuff happens, there should be a public display. I'm sorry, their freaking throats should be slit on TV. I don't give a... There's, good Lord, I can't even think about it. All right, but that's one of the stories in the headline. So the media has been trying to downplay Biden's border crisis since day one of his administration, according to Town Hall, where he signed several executive orders lifting Trump-era policies, resulting in millions of illegal immigrants entering the U.S. For years, the liberal media has denied the crisis at the southern border, only later to blame Republicans. And you know what the blame is? Well, we could have legislation. You know, there could be Why do they need legislation? Trump didn't need legislation. Now, he should have gotten legislation. There's no doubt about it. But you had a lot of rhinos and a lot of moderates that didn't want to work with them, as well as the left. It's something about cheap labor and the carrot of illegal immigrants and holding that power over the heads of illegal immigrants to get them to vote for you. The ones that are allowed to vote are the ones that they allow to vote. There's something about that. It's really sickening, oftentimes on both sides of the aisle. But nonetheless, the border needs to be sealed. It isn't the Republicans' fault in this case. It is solely Joe Biden's fault. The Republicans under former President Donald Trump sealed that border to the best of its ability. I mean, it hadn't been an issue for his first couple of years were rough. His last couple of years were excellent when it came to his record, Trump's record on the border. When Biden got in, it was over 90 executive orders that he totally reversed of Trump's, including the Remain in Mexico policy. And then we've got a wide open border crisis. Here's something else that you need to be concerned about. All right. We don't talk about this often, but it's very important. Now, this happened in Russia. All right. But I want you to understand this is going to come here. This is going to come to a town near you. I'm not exactly sure in what form it's going to happen, but you've heard plenty of people say it. I'm not the first to say it, but it is a matter of when and not if that there will be a terrorist attack on U.S. soil. There's already been some thwarted. There was one thwarted at an Air Force base recently. I believe it was an Air Force base, right? Then you had 8 terrorists that had crossed, that crossed the border. I forget what they were up to, but we've had a few scenarios where, thank God, the FBI has been able to thwart them. But listen to this. This is another headline. Terrorists opened fire in 2 Russian cities, killing 6 police officers. All right. So gunmen opened fire in 2 cities in Russia's North Caucasus region of Dagestan, targeting a synagogue, 2 Orthodox churches, and a police post, and killing at least 6 police officers and a priest, according to officials. In the city of Derbent, I'm probably butchering the name, gunmen attacked a synagogue. Obviously, there's anti-Semitism there, home to a Jewish community in the predominantly Muslim region. Russia state media TASS said the attackers also shot at 2 nearby Orthodox churches, killing a police officer and a priest. Footage was published on social media from Derbent. Derbent showed a group of gunmen engaged in heavy fire with the police. All right, so guys, I think it's just a matter of time, and obviously this has to do with anti-Semitism in Russia, but it's going to be a matter of time before we see a terrorist attack here, and I don't know what form it's going to come in. All I would say is be ready. We've allowed too many illegal immigrants into the country unvetted to not believe that something like this is going to happen. Now, listen to this. The Department of Homeland Security Advisory Board lays out what makes someone qualify as a domestic extremist. So never mind the fact that we now have illegal immigrants in America that are literally killing, murdering, sexually assaulting, from Rachel Morin to Joselyn Nungay to, I believe, Laken Riley. If I recall correctly, she was able to fight back, but she got her skull bashed in as a result, all by illegal immigrants. So never mind the fact that they're the threats. Never mind the fact that we've had some people try to target and scope out military installations. Red State reported about this, one of our Green Berets, if I recall correctly, where a Russian or a spy, a terrorist from Chechnya, was pretending like he was from some phone company and checking out the homes, checking out the properties of some of our soldiers. So, guys, something is going to happen, and you just have to be fully aware of it. But again, you're a domestic extremist if you happen to be a person with religious beliefs. If you've served in the military, apparently you're more likely to be a domestic extremist, or you're supporting former President Donald Trump. You're likely to be an extremist. So basically, if you're a Christian conservative, or if you believe in Judeo-Christian values, like our founding fathers, then you're probably a domestic terrorist or a domestic extremist, according to the Department of Homeland Security Advisory Board under Alejandro Mayorkas. Republicans are working to stop illegal immigrants from receiving voter registration forms. I talked to you about this before. Welfare offices and other agencies in 49 U.S. states are providing voter registration forms to illegal immigrants without requiring proof of citizenship, leading Republicans and conservatives to call for swift federal action to stop the handouts. I got to ask this question. I just got to be real with you. And this is going to be incumbent upon you, for those of you that are in the listening audience. When Republicans get into office, it's time for us to hold them accountable. I don't care what they say. I vote conservative. I vote Republican. When I do vote, if I don't like a rhino, I won't vote for them. That's just the way that I roll. And I feel like that's the way that you should roll too. You know what I do to find out whether a person is really a conservative or not? I just look at their Liberty score. I look at their voting record. And if their voting record is low, if it's average, depending on where they are, okay, maybe That's okay. You're in the 60s. You're in the 50s. What are you even in the Republican Party for? And there's so many like that in the Republican Party. It's ridiculous. Basically, what the Republican Party is today is what the Democrat Party was during the Bill Clinton era. And I'm not convinced that we're as conservative as Democrats were then. That's how far to the left the Republican Party has moved. And now we have to be concerned about this. Now, listen, I think that we can win the 2024 election, but it's going to take every single one of us in our districts, in our own communities, making sure that we vote, making sure that we try to convince others to vote. Even if you just convince one more person to vote, that's more than you did last time. Maybe you'll donate to a candidate, a local candidate. You know what I'm saying? So you can do something like that. Just do something to step it up a notch, if you will. All right. So what else do we have here? Biden approves vote. Oh, this is one. So we've got Joe Biden. Joe Biden is at it again. Joe Biden approves voting stations for the Iranian presidential election on U.S. soil. What is up with his administration's obsession with Iran? I mean, we've got China, Russia, Iran, North Korea. North Korea is sending more poop balloons or whatever else they're trying to send over to South Korea. It was reported earlier today. What is up with this? What is up with the fascination of the Iranians? Honestly, this is a demonic regime. I don't often use that phrase, but it is demonic. The fact that you would allow the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism to operate, according to Daily Wire, absentee voter stations on U.S. soil for the country's upcoming presidential election is warped. It's sick. I don't know why we would be doing that for any country, frankly, let alone Iran. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely insane. All right, so let me move on. So we've been talking about Trump. Now, guys, remember, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you go to get your podcast: Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, and Rumble. Don't forget, this Thursday evening is the debate. There will be posts. I will be on with Andrew Wilkow on the Salem News Channel for both pre and post coverage debate. I'm sorry. I'm getting tongue tied here, Gabe. For both pre coverage and post coverage of the debate. So the Salem News Channel, please check that out. All right. So we'll be looking forward to that. Again, please join me on all things social media, wherever I am on social media, at The Carl Jackson Show or at Carl Jackson Show, I believe, on Twitter and Getter, but at The Carl Jackson Show. Guys, I want to talk to you real quickly before I move on and close it out with the things that Trump can do to win the debate. Even though the mainstream media, we all know this, even though the mainstream media will tell us that Trump is going to lose or Trump lost, unless Biden freezes up, they're going to say that Trump lost the debate. All right. So just prepare yourself for that. But it isn't going to matter. I don't think it's going to matter as long as Trump can be a gentleman. Now, I don't think he needs to make his points, but I think he needs to be a gentleman. Honestly, I think the people that are decided, right? There's a few in between, some of the independents, and they know that Biden is a disaster. Everybody knows that Biden is a disaster. If you're an honest broker, you know that Biden is a disaster. But what they're looking at with Trump is, can I tolerate this guy for another 4 years? Because honestly, that's why a lot of people checked out in 2020. And I know rigging of the election, trust me, I was there. I get it. You'll get no qualms from me on that, by the way. But a lot of people also checked out because they didn't like Trump, even though he got a great number of votes. So did Biden. I don't believe Biden necessarily got those many votes, but I do believe he got a lot, because you have to consider that people were so, during that time, you had, COVID, and you had people that disliked Trump, and they thought that Biden was a moderate, and they were like, how bad could this guy be? Right. And so they were willing to move on. All right. So before I move on, I want to show you some more videos, some other reasons why we have to, what we got to do, what we need to stop. Obviously, illegal immigration. We shared with you the story, the video of Joselyn Nungay's mom, 12-year-old little girl. Sadly, that is no longer with us as a result of Biden's open border policy. But before I go on, I want to talk to you about wealth protection research real quick. At the very heart of our democracy lies a principle that we hold sacred, and that is free speech. It's the cornerstone that supports every freedom that we cherish. Yet in today's digital age, discussions about our wealth, our rights, and our future are being silenced or overshadowed in mainstream narratives, leaving many feeling voiceless in conversations that are crucial to our financial independence and security. This is where wealth protection research steps in. They're armed with a mission that's never been more critical. Wealth Protection Research is not a financial advisory firm. They are defenders of free speech. They're committed to giving a voice to the silence. Wealth Protection Research tirelessly seeks out financial experts. These are the voices that challenge prevailing narratives, especially as we navigate the uncertainties of the 2024 election. Wealth Protection Research has created a 2024 Election Wealth Protection Report. This free report highlights the 3 best ideas for protecting and growing your money heading into the 2024 election. It contains ideas the mainstream media won't touch, and listeners can get it completely free. All you have to do is text the word ideas to 76626 to claim your free copy. If you believe in the sanctity of free speech and the importance of financial freedom, act now. Text the word ideas, IDEAS, to 76626 to claim your free copy of this 2024 Election Protection Report. It's time to widen the scope of what we're told, to hear the ideas the establishment does not think you can handle, and to take control of our financial destinies. Text the word ideas, IDEAS, to 76626 to claim your free copy. By the way, if you text the word ideas today, you'll also get a free gold investment kit from Wealth Protection Research that's sponsored by Augusta Precious Metals. All right, now let me get on to the get on. Now, again, politics is political theater. Politics is emotional. I want to give you some reasons that we need to kick Joe Biden's behind out of office, because some of you aren't just inspired by Trump. Now, some of you love Trump. You're the most ardent supporters. I happen to love Trump, but I'll be truthful with you. There's points where I'm like, Trump should do this. Trump should have done this. Trump should have done. I think I'm a fair broker when it comes to Trump. I view him as a tool. That's how I view all Republicans. I view Trump as a guy that has a backbone of steel. And so what we should do as we the people is we should use his courage to make sure that we the people are in a better position once he leaves office. Lord willing, he obtains office again. All right. And that's not a sure thing unless you put the work in. But I want to show you some of the reasons why we need to elect some conservatives and kick some people out. Here's AOC makes a bizarre entrance with Enough by Cardi B. I think that's Gabe's favorite artist, blasting out of the speakers at a Jamal Bowman's rally in the Bronx. Let's go ahead and play that video clip. Number 1, por favor, Gabe. Okay, now, when you look at that, and even some Americans, well, you might say that, I think it's cray-cray. I don't think that represents a congressperson well. But you might look at that, you might be ghetto fabulous. I used to be ghetto fabulous, right? And be like, yeah, boy. Gabe, is that what you say? Did she make you feel inspired, kind of like Flavor Flav, like you wanted to say, yeah, boy, something like that? Yeah, so that's true. That's a Bronx rally, right? Was that where Trump was at? South Bronx? Basically, she was in the Bronx. Yeah, rally in the Bronx. I'm not sure. Hey, listen, I don't know the Bronx from whatever, from an apple. But anyway, excuse me. Obviously, Trump garnered a way bigger crowd. There's another video. Here's Jamal Bowman.